Welcome in. Let's come on in. Have a seat, sit down. Welcome back into another edition of the Last Minute Fantasy Football Podcast. Boy, is it good to be back, guys. Man, took a little break. Me and the staff, we took a little break. We also took a trip down to Key West. We were in Vegas for a while. Beanie over there, he won about $3,000 on the blackjack table. So we got a lot of things moving around here in the Last Minute Fantasy Football Studios. We've actually upgraded, so now we are broadcasting live in a new studio. Can you guess where it is? We are right smack dab in the middle of the Gulf of America. I know. Apparently there was an oil rig out here that's been abandoned for about, what was it? 40 years? There was an oil rig here that's been abandoned for 40 years, guys. So I was able to purchase it for about $37,000. Anytime we have a guest come by the studio, the first thing is obviously you must get here by helicopter or by boat. And we don't have a dock, so you really just kind of have to figure out your own way in. It's very secure, and I like it here, guys. But welcome back in. Welcome back into the Last Minute Fantasy Football Studios, and welcome to the off-season edition, guys. So anyway, guys, coming up on this episode of the off-season edition of the podcast, a lot of things I want to talk about when it comes to the NFL. Like, first off, Micah Parsons wants $200 million from the Cowboys. I don't know who he thinks he is. He thinks he's LT. We'll get into that on the other side of the break. Also, Russel Wilson getting $21 million from the Giants, who also have Jameis Winston and Tommy Cutlets on the roster. So we'll talk about that on the other side of the break. Also, I don't know if you guys heard about this defensive lineman coming into the NFL. They say he's possibly or definitely going to be the heaviest player in NFL history. I'll tell you all about him. Also, Aaron Rodgers said he's 100% ready to come back. But this guy, you'll hear what I got to say about that. ESPN, did you hear about this? They said they're going to do a documentary on the Chiefs' Super Bowl loss. Yeah, even when the Chiefs lose, we'll get into that on the other side of the break. Also, there's still some rumors swirling around about Justin Fields getting traded, even though the Jets signed him, so we'll talk about that. A whole lot more, guys. We'll see if we got the time, but stick around. Last minute off-season edition, Last Minute Fantasy Football Podcast. Here we go.
Well, boss, I'm back from my vacation.
You didn't happen to run into your brains while you were out there, did you?
No, but I wasn't really looking.
Hey guys, welcome back in other side of the break, Last Minute Fantasy Football Podcast. Micah Parsons, you guys heard about this? So defensive lineman for the Cowboys, Micah Parsons, they've made a big deal out of him since he's gotten into the league. He came in, a lot more svelte. I feel like when he came into the league, he was in a lot better shape. But he got a couple sacks in a couple games, and playing for the Cowboys, you get a lot of love, you get a lot of notoriety, and Jerry's going to pump you up. He's going to tell Stephen A. Smith to talk about Micah Parsons like he's the next LT, Simeon Rice, or like he's the next JPP. Micah Parsons has never been that good of a football player. He's just been a Dallas Cowboy. It's similar to the defensive lineman that the Cowboys recently got rid of, DeMarcus Lawrence. DeMarcus Lawrence has been told he's been good since he's gotten into the league, but he's never actually done anything that makes you say, wow, this guy's good. And tell me the last time you've really seen a Dallas Cowboys player where you said, man, that guy is good. I'd love to have that guy on my team. For me, it's nobody. So if you're asking me the question, what do you think of Micah Parsons wanting $200 million from the Dallas Cowboys? I think it's absolutely ridiculous. But I also say, if you can get $200 million, go get that $200 million. Just know that Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones is running an entertainment franchise. We all get that by now, right? He's not actually trying to win games. Dallas Cowboys, they're just putting out an entertainment product. They just want to get talked about. And if you ask me, most likely what they're doing there in Dallas is they're just angling to get Shedeur Sanders in this draft and then get Deion Sanders and move into the next millennia with the Sanders family and the Jerry Jones family coming together as one and making a Super Bowl baby. Now, also in the news, I don't know if you guys have heard about this one, but you remember that guy that was the quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks all those years, Legion of Boom? Then he went to Broncos country, and it was Broncos, let's ride. He didn't ride very well there. Then he went to Pittsburgh, and it was, Pittsburgh, let's weld. And, he did a little welding there and threw a couple moon balls to George Pickens, and he didn't even get to start in Pittsburgh. He didn't even start in Pittsburgh. They went with Justin Fields half the season and then ended the season with Russell Wilson. I don't know if that's because they thought he was old or what have you, but that didn't work out. They kicked him to the curb, and now they're trying to get an even older quarterback that we'll touch on later. But Russell Wilson, did you hear this? Russell Wilson is on a new team. Russell Wilson has signed a $21 million deal with the New York Giants. And that's right. Sierra is now the biggest pop star in New York City, along with Russell Wilson. So what does this look like for the New York Giants? Well, their quarterback room now has Russell Wilson, a cartoon character, Jameis Winston, a cartoon character, and Tommy Cutlets, Tommy DeVito, a damn sure bona fide cartoon character. So I don't know what this is going to look like. Now, clearly, from the outside perspective, this looks like they're obviously going to start Russell Wilson, right? Jameis is signed to a backup deal. I believe it's about $8 million. Russell's getting 21 and Cutlets is Cutlets. He's a joke. He's a nothing. So they're probably going to drop him and get somebody else. Honestly, he's probably done in the NFL. I think he had mob ties, so he can just fall back on that. But Russell Wilson, now what else do they have in New York right now? Well, their running back situation is a no-go. They do have, Tyrone Tracy, who came on last year. I believe in college he was a wide receiver. They do have him as a running back. He played pretty well last year. On my fantasy team, I picked him up and then I dropped him. I believe, Wood picked him up. But Wood didn't make the playoffs. He came in third. I mean, he didn't win the Super Bowl. Wood didn't win the Super Bowl. He came in third place and, which we touched on. But yeah, I mean, for Russell Wilson, look, this is probably his last stop, right? I'm pretty sure Russell knows this is his last stop. He's not going to get a lot more opportunities, and you're not going to get a bigger opportunity than playing for the biggest media market, who is starved for anyone to just play halfway decent, for their team. So, all in all, this should work out well for the New York Giants. Now, when I say well, I don't mean they're going to make the playoffs, right? They're in the same division as the Philadelphia Eagles and Jalen Hurts, who are coming off a Super Bowl where they destroyed the Kansas City Chiefs. We're also looking at the Washington Commanders, formerly the Redskins, who have Jaden Daniels, whose mom is keeping him from getting laid. That's another weird story that we should touch on in the offseason edition. Jaden Daniels' mom. The hell's going on there? But then they're also in the same division as obviously the Dallas Cowboys, who are going through their transition period. So out of those three teams, even though the Cowboys are a joke, Micah Parsons is a joke, they're clearly better than the New York Giants. So Russell Wilson, he's got Malik Neighbors out there, Tyrone Tracy at running back, and I don't know much else they really have there. I believe their tight end might be okay. But yeah, Russell Wilson, New York Giants, backup Jameis Winston, and most likely, I mean, what do we know about Jameis Winston when he's on a team? At some point in the year, he's most likely going to play. When everything is looking lost, when the coach needs to reinvigorate and show, hey, it's not that bad out here. Look at what Jameis just did. He did it for the Browns. He did it for the Saints. And so he's going to do it now again for the New York Giants. Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston. Welcome back in, guys. As we keep this podcast rolling again, Last Minute Fantasy Football Podcast, off-season edition, middle of the Gulf of America oil rig. Guys, have you heard about this? So there's the potential in the upcoming draft for there to be the heaviest player in NFL history. I mean, I guess you could say fattest NFL player in NFL history, but these guys aren't fat, right? I mean, I don't care if you weigh 464 pounds, you're still an athletic NFL beast. But that's the weight of Florida defensive tackle Desmond Watson. This guy is standing at 6'6", 460 pounds, guys. Now, this is a D tackle, so we've seen Vita Vea, we've seen the tush push be a problem. If you can get a guy like Desmond Watson and you just plant him in the middle of the field, he really doesn't even have to do anything. Just put him right there and just tell him, don't let anybody through you. And he's just like, all right. This guy ran a 40-yard dash in 5.93 seconds, guys. So I want you to imagine a massive 6'6" human being at 464 pounds running the 40 at 5.93 yards. I mean, it's unheard of. It's absolutely unheard of. So this guy looks to be a monster. He also did a 25-inch vertical jump. Over his time in his college career, the guy had 63 tackles, 4 tackles for a loss, 1.5 sacks. Didn't miss any games. So look, I mean, not only is this guy huge, but he was able to stay healthy. And that's kind of the big thing. Now, where is he projected to go? He's been projected to go all over the map. But what kind of team do you think could use somebody like that? Honestly, I think he would be great on the Commanders. That would kind of fit where they are right now. Nice up and coming team. We have Vita Vea here in Tampa. You put him next to Vita Vea, that's just a cheat code. So I don't want to hurt everybody like that. But yeah, like I said, 6'6", 464 pounds. The guy did 36 reps of 225 pounds on the bench press. Again, like I said, 5.9 on the vertical jump. The guy's a beast. You know, he's got versatility. You know, the guy's got the stats. He's coming in with the consistency. He's coming in with the longevity. He's coming in with the potential impact. I mean, the guy's presence could make a defensive line just a straight game changer, honestly, with a guy like that, especially in short yardage situations. Like I said, fucking up the tush push is something we could do. So, guys, Desmond Watson, potential to be the heaviest player in NFL history. Rocking and rolling here, guys. Last Minute Fantasy Football Podcast. You guys hear about this Aaron Rodgers situation? So this guy, again, he is holding the NFL by the balls in the offseason again, doing his darkness retreats, the ayahuasca, the long hair, the beard. I mean, he's looking like the Big Lebowski these days. And last season, if you ask me, Aaron Rodgers looked like shit. There was a few Sundays that I decided to sit down, put on a Jets game, and just watch their offense, watch Aaron Rodgers. And man, he looked like absolute shit. I mean, every pass just was off. He had no protection. You could blame that on the offensive line. You could blame that on the Jets just being a poor organization, but it looked really bad. I mean, it just looked absolutely horrible watching Aaron Rodgers with the New York Jets last year. They went through a few running backs, Braylon Allen and Breece Hall, I believe. But anyway, get to the point. The point is, Aaron Rodgers, free agent right now, and currently is being courted by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Tough as nails, Mike Tomlin. Ever since Ben Roethlisberger, they have not been able to find anyone to play the quarterback position competently. They went to Kenny Pickett. That was a draft pick who just looked like a 12-year-old out there that had never seen a football field in his life. They then turned to, of course, Mason Rudolph, who seems like he's been on their backup quarterback roster since 1974. I think Mason Rudolph backed up Terry Bradshaw, didn't he? Jimbo, get on that. See if you can find out if Mason Rudolph backed up. But in any case, yeah, they've had a lot of different guys. Last year, Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, didn't do much for them. Again, they went 8-8 or 9-8 or 7, whatever that is. They're always right around that area. So now they're trying to get Aaron Rodgers. And a couple weeks ago, they picked up DK Metcalf as a free agent wide receiver from the Seahawks to pair DK Metcalf with George Pickens, but they have no quarterback. So I don't know. I'm not sure if they were trying to just dress up the house to sell it, right? Just like making it seem like, this is a great team to come. Look, we got DK Metcalf and George Pickens, and who's that running back? And I don't know, because they got rid of, Najee Harris as well, didn't they? I believe that Najee Harris signed with the Chargers, if I'm not mistaken. So their main running back for the past 2 years. And now he's out in LA with Jim Harbaugh. So we'll see what happens with Aaron Rodgers. I know that also the Vikings have been considering him because they got rid of Sam Darnold, who went to Seattle, Russell Wilson's old place. This really is musical chairs for these guys. And he went to Seattle. So the Vikings, they have JJ McCarthy, who they drafted last year, had one good pass in preseason. Then they shut him down so they could give the keys to Sam Darnold for a year. But they've also been considering Aaron Rodgers there in Minnesota. To go with, Justin Jefferson. But, I mean, my God, does Aaron Rodgers really want to complete the full Brett Favre story by going from Green Bay to New York Jets to then Minnesota Vikings? And is he going to throw a pick in the NFC Championship game as well, just like Brett did? and then walk off into the sunset to rob welfare recipients in Mississippi of all their hard-earned life savings so he could build a high school gym and take a boat ride through the Mississippi River. I don't know the details of that story. Back to Aaron Rodgers. I don't think he has it anymore. The guy really needs to just go ahead and hang it up, call it a day. I think he's got, weird family issues. Just a lot. There's a lot when it comes to Aaron Rodgers. And can you imagine Aaron Rodgers every week going on the Pat McAfee show to talk about the inner workings of the Pittsburgh Steelers and the week-to-week workings of the Pittsburgh Steelers? How's that going to go with Mike Tomlin? I think that's a horrible idea. And if I was any NFL GM, NFL head coach, I am staying miles and miles and miles away of Aaron Rodgers. Welcome back in, guys. Other side of the break, Last Minute Fantasy Football Podcast. As we are coming on the back nine here of the episode, I wanted to sort of touch on this that I saw in the news, guys. So did you hear? I don't know if you saw the Super Bowl a few months ago. The Kansas City Chiefs were destroyed, demolished, absolutely embarrassed by the Philadelphia Eagles, which was really the battle of two teams that I absolutely despise, one for their fans and one for their quarterback, Kermit the Frog there. But did you hear about this? So ESPN and Disney Plus have announced a 6-part documentary series focusing on the Kansas City Chiefs 2024 NFL season, culminating in their Super Bowl loss to the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, this documentary is going to be produced by the same team that produced The Last Dance. I don't know if you remember The Last Dance that came out during the pandemic. It was about the 90s Bulls, and that documentary really helped us stay sane during a time of absolute insanity. But yeah, the same producers of The Last Dance will be putting together this documentary. Now, the report goes on to say here that the documentary aims to provide an in-depth look at the franchise's storied history and its transformation into a modern-day dynasty. It will feature exclusive footage from the 2024 season, offering fans a behind-the-scenes perspective on the team's highs and lows. While the series will cover the entire season, it is expected to address the challenges faced during Super Bowl, where the Chiefs were demolished 42-22 by the Eagles. Now, one thing I'm wondering here is how much is Taylor Swift going to be a part of this? Right? That's the cash cow of this whole thing. I mean, the Chiefs, I'm pretty sure they had plans on making this documentary and wanted it to be for the three-peat, right? But now that it's not and they lost, they're still going to go forward with it. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be injected full of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce and their whole relationship. They might even have them, let's not go that far, but I'm pretty sure they're going to be all throughout this episode. But anyway, I'm not looking forward to this. I'm not exactly sure why they're doing it. I know that ESPN Plus, Disney Plus, all these guys, they just want content. That's where we are now. All the streaming services, they don't care how bad it is. We just need something on there so that the people on here will be on here, so that we can keep getting their information and selling them ads of garbage they don't need. It's supposed to come out soon on the dynasty of the Kansas City Chiefs. But in any case, guys, that's going to do it for this episode. I want to thank you guys for tuning into the off-season edition here in March. We've got April coming up, and then we've got May, then we've got June, then we've got July, then we've got August, then we've got September. And just in case you forgot how the calendar works, but in any case, guys, thanks for listening. This episode will be on Spotify and YouTube for your enjoyment, and take care. Peace.